What's up, peeps? Today on the show, if I can't cook it, you won't be able to. We're gonna be preparing one of the dishes that I already know how to make. The reason being is because everybody always asks me how to make it. It's ceviche. I'm gonna show you today how to properly make ceviche. I'm gonna show you the ingredients. Here we have imitation crab meat. Depending on how many people you're gonna be serving, then you get it. In this case, I'm gonna be taking some for the whole family. So we're doing 5 pounds of imitation crab meat. Here we have 2 pounds of shrimp. I like to use the cleaned ones already peeled. That's just my preference, but you can use whichever shrimps you like. Here we have your limes. I always use 16 limes for the amount of people that I'm doing for, but you can always use 8 limes if you wanted to, or 6 limes, depending on how much you're making. We're using red tomatoes, 3 cucumbers, red onions. You can use white onions if you want, but I like this. It's more of a sweeter taste. 1 serrano pepper, just to give it a little bit of heat. If you don't want heat, you don't have to put it. It'll stay mild at all times. And then cilantro. Cilantro gives it a lot of taste, and it's what's gonna make it pop. And then you're gonna have a full pot of water, and I'll explain why you have the full pot of water as we go. So now we're gonna start chopping. Once your produce is cleaned and washed, like mine, you start to cut it. We're gonna start off with tomatoes. Now, just to show you guys, I ain't a professional. I'm just an ordinary person. This is how I cut my tomatoes. You guys can do it different. Everybody does it different, but this just shows you I ain't a professional chef or trying to be a professional chef. I'm just a regular person, just cooking. So let's do this. Now, the reason why you see it, that I'm leaving it this thick here, is because I'm not being sponsored or anything of this, but I don't have the time and I'm super lazy on sitting here just cutting, chopping. So I use this. This is my friend right here. It's a chopper, so it chops it for me on one hit. I use it for my tomatoes, for my onions, and then for the smaller pieces if I want to. So good little tool to have if you guys want to use it. If you guys want to sit there and just chop away, then you guys can, but not this guy, sorry. So I'm gonna show you how this thingy works. So you put it right there. I'll put like 2 of them sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can only fit 1 just to get it, but you just chop it. See how it comes down right there? Little cubed up. That's what you want. So you cube them all up, and you just keep doing them. See how fast? Shh. Imagine if I had to cut all those one by one, I would die. Voila, my tomatoes are done. Look at that, look at that. Nice and chopped, pretty looking tomatoes. Now for my next ones. All right, once your tomatoes are diced, you put them in your little bowl or whatever container you have. Just leave them on there. I already peeled the cucumbers. Reason being is because it takes some time to peel them, so I just already peeled them. So just peel these though, and then once it's done peeled, then you cut them right here. You cut the ends of them because I didn't peel all the way to the end. Then you grab these and you cut it in half like that, and I'll cut it again in this way. That way. And I'll cut it again that way. And I'll show you guys why. But in this case, since I'm using my handy dandy and I'm using the small one, okay, the smaller little, because I like them to be very small, more instead of big cubes, I will chop these in half as well. So once you chop it in half, you re-chop them in half. Just put them to the side. Super easy, just to chop them all up. Like I said, if you do it all one by one, it's a little bit more time consuming, which most of America, well right now we have all the time, but most of America, they're always in a rush, never really have time to just sit there and chop stuff up. So you want stuff to be ready, done quick. This is a pretty easy way to cook. So I'm cheating a little bit, but hey, I ain't a chef, I ain't a cook, so I get to cheat. So I cheat. Now that you're done with your cucumbers, put them to the side as well. And now we're gonna do the red onion. Cut the edges. Shoot! Told you I ain't a professional, people. So shows you that anybody can do it. And like I said, that's why the show is called If I Can't Make It, You Definitely Can't Make It. Because I'm pretty savvy with the knife, but not this time. See, you're crying and making little cuts. Now, you look at your face. Oh, but anyways, I got something coming out. Right here. Done. That's what you're doing. And once that's done, once you're done doing these, then you can move up to your serrano chile, which I'm gonna pull out right now. I don't have to clean my station for that. But another thing I wanted to mention to you guys is, if you don't like onions, it's okay. You can make it without onions. It's not the proper way of doing it, but if you don't like onions, you don't have to. Just put these ingredients with your limes and your shrimp and your imitation crab meat, and it still comes out pretty bomb. I've tried it already. I've tried it because my friend, he hates onions, and he's like, it's like eating Clorox. I love onions, all right, people, but he feels like it's like eating Clorox. So I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like onions. So just eliminate that. Okay, so once this is done, like I said, all in a nice little cubes. See, beautiful, fast and easy, no crying. Done. Set it to the side, and then I grab my serrano chile. I'm only gonna put one, and then you just myself. Guys, I can put it on the top right, but you know, I don't know how much you want this. You know, so like I said, you want this. Now you're it, so you can make how much you want it. Just put it on just come this way. Once you're done with these, then you're gonna have everything pretty much prepared. So you just want to cut your cilantro, and the cilantro is next too, and that one's pretty easy to cut. It can get all over the place, but see, once you're done, you just do this, set it to the side, like that. Clean up the peppers that are left right there if you like. Got your little towel, boom, boom. You're done. Then, these right here. Do these one by one, to be honest. On this one, I like to use a little sharper knife, just because it's a little more tricky. And then of course you're gonna recut them, you know what I mean, because they're still a little bit big, but at least you're chopping them all up from right here. And like I said, you can re-chop it. Alright. And you just put that in your little bowl. And then we'll move on to the rest. So this is the shrimp part. Now remember I told you guys about needing the water, boiling water? Is because my shrimp is frozen and I thaw them out like that. Yes, it'll cook a little bit, but I only put them in there for literally 15 seconds, 10 seconds. So I don't let it cook all the way because I let the lime do the cooking. A lot of people say, no, not a lot of people, certain people say that the lime doesn't cook a shrimp. I beg to differ. But that's why I put them on here anyways. I put them on there and then leave them for like 15 seconds. And you'll see how it kind of gets a little gold. It just shows that it's defrosting and cooking a little bit. And time. See? 15 seconds. Still not all the way done and everything, and I just let the lime do the work because the lime is what's gonna make it happen. It's what's pretty much gonna cook the shrimp itself. There it is. So once you're done putting them in the pot, like I told you, you bring them to the side right here, boom, and then you start getting them and you cut them. I like to cut them in 3 places, just like that. I like to have my ceviche a little bit more thick. Some people will cut them like this. They'll cut them like 4 ways. You know what I mean? Make them smaller. But I always cut them in 3. These are big shrimps, so you can cut them in 4 ways if you want, just like that. So once you're done cutting your shrimp, put them to the side, and then you get your imitation crab meat. I already started cutting half of it. The reason being is, like I told you guys, this is time consuming, but this is the most time consuming already. So I got some right in here, okay? So I already put them in there. Once you have half of it like that, then you can go ahead and grab your shrimp and put them on here. I like to put it just like that, so then it's easier to mix when it's time for mixing. And voila. Now that's done there. All right, done right there. I'll throw some onions. I'll throw a few of them, just a little bit. Throw a little bit of cilantro. Throw a little bit of tomatoes. And then cucumbers. Like I said, I'm a little on the weird side. That's why I do it like this. Because then I grab the rest of this, which is imitation crab meat. You know, I like to cut it on top or shred it on top. The reason I say this is so time consuming is because it is. This is how you shred crab meat. Well, my version of shredding. And this is where the time consuming comes along. See, it takes forever. You guys think this is a joke, but it ain't no joke, people. Some people can make it hella fast though, but not everybody can be as fast as some people. And then you just do this all throughout. So once you do this all throughout, then you start adding more lime to it and everything like that, and the rest of your condiments, which is not the condiments, but the onions, tomatoes, cilantro, and your cucumber. And then you add some salt. I add a little bit of salt. Obviously you can put salt to your liking, but I add a little bit of salt just to give it, so it won't be so blah type. But once you do that, you just do it to your taste. As you go, you can start doing that. So let me go ahead and finish this up, and we'll continue with the rest. Once you stop cutting and you're done with your imitation crab meat, then you cut up limes, cut them up just like that, and you start squeezing them in there. Try to get some juicy limes. That way, you can get a lot of juice in there. Because the more limey it is, the more bomb it gets. I'm one that likes lime, so if you like lime, this is a dish for you, let me tell you. And then not only that, but remember how I was telling you guys about the shrimp not being cooked all the way? Well, the lime's gonna help it cook it all the way by me putting it in there. Once we're done, I'm gonna mix everything up again, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge. I'm gonna put it in the fridge for at least a good hour. Some people leave it longer just so it can settle better. But in this case, I'm gonna leave it for at least an hour. And from there, we'll just start making and preparing the tostadas, and I'll show you guys how it goes on the tostadas. There's two different ways of doing it. Like I was saying though, on this one, once you're done with the limes, you can actually add a little bit of this. So everything I just did right now is the proper way of doing it. You are completely done once you put the cilantro and everything else and your limes. You are completely done. This is the proper way of doing a ceviche, and this is what it's gonna look like. Bam, just like this. Nice and juicy with the lime. Now, another way that a lot of people like to do it as well is they do it like this, the proper way. And then they add a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit of clamato. And you just, bam, that's it. I only use like, literally like a shot. If you're an alcoholic, I'm not an alcoholic, but if you're an alcoholic, you know what I mean by a shot. But just, that's 2 shots of clamato. And then you mix it all up and it'll blend in correctly and really good with the lime. So this is how I make my ceviche. This is the proper way of making the ceviche, except the clamato part. You can or you don't have to put ceviche, but this is the way I was taught by a lady from straight up from Mexico, and it's so bomb. And ever since I've been always doing it, everybody loves it, and they're like, how do you make this? How do you make this? So now you guys know how I make it, and you guys can make it yourselves at home and don't have to bug me about it. I'll be back once I start putting out tostada. I'm gonna let this settle in the refrigerator, and we'll go from there. Don't forget, leave it in the refrigerator for at least an hour, okay? So see you guys back in an hour. So now that it has settled already, it's been in there for an hour. We actually left it for an hour and a half. We left it a little longer so it can sit. You grab a tostada and you add mayo to it. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to add mayo. A lot of people don't add mayo. I was taught with the mayo, and I think with the mayo it's delicious. So if you guys want to try it with and without it, just to see how your taste buds roll, try it like that. But I like mayo, so I'm gonna keep my mayo on my tostada. And then you grab it right here. The reason why I got a big old pot now is because we mixed everything together. See what I'm talking about? You can feed your whole family with this and some. But you got this right here, boom, mix it, and then you start to put it on your plate. Voila, look at that. Beautiful, fresh, juicy. Grab some tapatio. Another one, they're not sponsoring me, they're not paying me for this, but I like hot sauce. Add some of that. Once it's all done, you pick it up and you just enjoy it. Oh yeah. That's how you make ceviche. Go ahead, do it yourself, and enjoy it. See you to the next show. Peeps, don't forget, go ahead and like it and subscribe to it. I got more videos, more shows coming up.